Hey guys, it's Alex with AA Physique and Performance. Thanks for tuning in. Today I've got 3 exercises to help your rib flare. Alright, so the first one we're going to go over is a version of the side plank. Now I'm sure many of you have done a version of the side plank before, the basic one, but today we're going to add a few more components and we're also going to cue things a little bit differently. So, like a regular side plank, you're going to line up your elbow, your hip, and your ankle in the same line. If you need to, you can use a mat or some line on the floor to do so. So next, we're going to post up. If we need to get started, I'm going to use my hand to push myself up just to get started. And let's start here. So, head to toe aligned. Now, this is where it's going to be different. I'm pushing this into the ground, lifting myself up as high as possible, and this arm is going to reach forward and across. And now I'm going to breathe. Inhale and exhale and reach. As I exhale, I'm pushing this rib cage back as I'm tucking these ribs. So inhale, reach, keep the ribs there. Now inhale, keeping the ribs in place. Exhale, push the ribs further back. So each time you exhale, you're going to draw that rib cage back further and further until it becomes very difficult to inhale. Because like I explained with you Pectus guys and girls, you're constantly in this state of hyperinflation and you don't fully exhale. So we need to train these ribs to stay down and then to breathe while they're in the new position. So the pattern for most people with Pectus, or even people that don't, that have a flared rib posture, which is many athletes, is they're here, they're flared, and they don't fully exhale. Now if I fully exhale, look at what happens to my ribs. The ribs come down when I do a full exhale, and then I also feel it in my obliques and throughout the whole abdominal region. So that's what we need to start training, is the full exhalation, get those ribs down, and once the ribs are down and the obliques, these muscles here are holding them in place, then we breathe from there in the new position. All right, exercise number 2. This is a breathing exercise that's going to help us to train to keep the ribs down, specifically when we have our arms in an overhead position. So with anyone that has a flared rib posture, their pattern, in order to compensate, this is shoulder flexion when you lift your arms like this. So in order for some people to get that range of motion, they have to pop the ribs up to get the full range. If I keep my rib cage stacked over my pelvis and reach overhead, I feel in my lats here locking myself in place. Now there's other reasons for that, but this exercise I'm going to show you right now is going to help you to improve that. It's also going to help you to keep those ribs down and to learn how to keep them down when you're doing any kind of motion with the arms overhead. So, you're going to have a ball, and you need some kind of box. You're going to stack your feet on top of here, about 90 degrees bend in the legs. I'm going to take the ball, I'm going to put it between the knees. I'm going to squeeze the ball with about 25% effort here, not a ton. Just get the adductors engaged. Now, the first thing I'm going to do with my palms up and kind of in, I'm going to exhale and draw these ribs down as I reach up. Reach, 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 reach. Now, I'm going to hold this position. When you take the breath in, do not lose the rib position. And as I inhale, I'm going to bring the arms back just a little bit to where I can maintain this. Now in this position, I'm going to breathe in again. I'm going to exhale, reach for the sky. Good. My ribs keep pulling back with each exhale. It's becoming very difficult for me to breathe right now, which is why it's hard for me to talk. Now inhale, reach back, exhale, reach, protract the shoulders. Good. Inhale. Okay, so as you can see, it becomes very difficult to breathe, and that's the entire point. When you get that ribs down position, your body is just not used to breathing in that position, and that's what you need to practice, is getting these ribs down and using your obliques here to hold them there and then breathe in, because your body is used to breathing in this ribs flared posture. The only way you're going to have improvements in your rib flare position is if you retrain the nervous system to keep the ribs in place. Basically, and what I just felt right there, I've practiced it quite a bit, so it's doable, and I was able to get all the way down eventually. When I first started doing this, it was almost impossible for me to breathe in when I was at this point or so. But over time of practice, my rib cage began to expand. So as you inhale, you should feel the upper rib cage expand three-dimensionally all the way around, like a big cylinder. And as you practice, you'll be able to get more and more airflow, and you'll feel a ton of abdominal activation. So practice this one, make sure you have the ball, and you will eventually improve your shoulder flexion mobility, and also when you do things overhead when you're standing, you're gonna have an easier time keeping these ribs down. Exercise number 3. All you need is a post and a band. You could also use a cable machine for this one, but for the purpose of just being able to do it at home, I'm gonna show you this version. So, ball between the knees. Turn your legs inwards so the adductors turn on. Band is behind me, and I'm gonna go underhand grip. I'm leaning against the post. So first step, exhale and then reach as if you're reaching for some apples from the shoulder blade. You're gonna protract the shoulder blades, get this serratus muscle engaged. Ready? With each exhale, draw the ribs back. Now, I'm gonna reach one hand at a time. So inhale in this position, exhale, right arm. Reach, hold it. Inhale, left arm reach. Ready, inhale, right arm reach. Inhale, left arm reach. So, you're constantly reaching each side. Exhale, 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 until you can't go any further. You're gonna feel a ton of this serratus muscle right here. That's gonna help if you guys have scapular winging going on. And your average physical therapist is gonna tell you something like, oh, just do like push-up pluses and train your serratus muscle, and that's gonna fix your scapular winging. No. The reason you have scapular winging is because your rib cage is in abnormal shape and the scapula cannot glide on the rib cage correctly. So what we need to do is restore. If you're too extended like this, your scapula is going to wing off your back. So what we need to do is use airflow to draw the ribs down. Again, it goes back to the rib flare. Push that rib cage back into that scapula. Now the scap is going to be able to glide up and down in that rib cage. So this is going to help with scapular winging. It's also going to help with getting those ribs down, using those obliques to pull the ribs back while simultaneously activating the serratus by protracting the scapula one at a time. So these 3 exercises will be a good start for you guys to work on your rib flare. Also, this last one will work on scapular winging if you have that going on. Contact me for any questions, like the video, subscribe to my channel for more content. Thanks for watching the video.